Okay, this is Hideous Z doing a replay analysis. Irelia top into Gnar.
Minions have spawned.
We are looking at laning fundamentals. Plus just basic map movement and lane pressure and team fighting presence here. So right off the bat, Gnar is going to be a bit of a tough lane early on, just because he has a range advantage. So, yep, taking your Q is what I would suggest. Try to establish a level advantage as early as possible. Which versus someone with range means pushing it a little bit harder. I would go ahead and actually push the lane just a bit. You don't want to shove it into his turret necessarily. Although you can, honestly. That wouldn't be a bad idea versus this lane. One thing you can do is you can shove the first wave as quickly as possible. He's not giving you any pressure, by the way. You don't need to. You can afford to. Nice. To CS and even go aggressive as soon as you hit level 2. So yeah, already. So you gotta look. You look at this. He's giving you so much respect. Like, this is kind of absurd, actually. So one thing you can do is you can shove the first wave quickly, and then actually shove the first 2 waves quickly, and try to have the second wave cleared by about 2:45, so about 30 seconds ago from this mark. If you are able to do that, the wave will tend to have reset and be freezable in front of your turret by the 5th wave. And so you push it to the turret right before the first gank window comes up, and then you're back under your turret and can freeze it for as long as you're able to hold the freeze. But versus any matchup as Irelia, if you're able to get a level advantage, go ahead and go aggressive. There's no reason not to, unless you're going to take, unless it's a situation where you're going to take a lot of minion aggro or something. Yeah, I'm not sure why he's playing so far back. It's like he thinks you have a ranged ability or something. That's not worth it. Not worth taking a turret shot. Okay, you should have seen this gank a little bit sooner. You're probably going to be okay. Wow, he screwed that up. Not worth... oh, yikes. Oh, okay, nice. That was a nice blade surge. Oh, you actually almost killed him. If you'd had your stun up, that you played that right. The only thing that that you put yourself in a lot of danger by going aggressive when you did. You got to pay attention to his Gnar bar. Oh, and this is something that you just got to be careful of. Yeah, anytime a jungler ganks, especially if he burns your flash, which he didn't there the first time, but no, turn, just turn. Come on. Okay, so a couple of things here. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Okay. Back a little bit. Okay. So as he's chasing here, you gotta keep an eye on his Gnar bar. So Gragas messes up and backs off. But he's got a double stack of his passive on you, and his Gnar bar is almost full. So even if he doesn't go into Gnar mode, the double stack on his passive is going to do a lot of damage to you. Plus you've got all these, or no, these are your minions. Never mind. Sorry, I got my blue and red mixed up. He does mess up and overextend there, But that's just an awareness thing. He gets so much stronger when he gets his full Gnar bar. So if it's even close to being full, you gotta just back off and respect him, or otherwise maybe you wouldn't have to. Okay, I'm gonna speed this up. And then, yeah, if a jungler fails the gank, you know, give it a few seconds before you just recommit, because a smart jungler will always do this. Okay, pink ward, that's good. A little thing here, it's gonna be better to position this pink ward closer to here, like right on the edge here. And that's just because, so if the jungler walks up, or the top laner walks up and throws his ward like on the edge here, they have to commit that much further to kill that pink ward. They can't just stand here right on the edge and get it. They have to walk all the way up into here, and that makes it a little easier for you to defend. And it still accomplishes the job of giving you vision of this tri-bush area. Okay, so overall this lane is going really well. You have a massive CS lead. He does have 2 assists to your nothing, so that's helping. But even with that, I think you have a gold lead right now. Yeah, a little bit. Not a massive one, but definitely a gold lead. So basically, you're playing the lane a lot better than him. He should be having a much easier time CSing versus you just because of his range. But he's not playing the lane very well. So your just basic mechanics, just your fundamental mechanics are keeping you ahead in this lane. In terms of just your farming and your warding has been pretty good. So that's really good to see, that you're aware of those things and you're looking to make sure that you're staying on top of them. The things that are not going as well in this lane is this kind of thing, just power spike awareness, risk assessment. Every time Gnar's bar hits full, he will look to go aggressive, and he will almost always win, unless you are significantly ahead. It gives him so much power, and a smart Gnar player knows it, and so he will look to go aggressive every time he can when his Gnar bar is full. And if his ult is up and you're near a wall, then often you're toast. When it goes down, so when the Gnar bar is up, that's just the time. That's a smart time to just leave lane and go ward. Yeah. So so as you see that getting close to full, as it hits 80 and 90% full, just back off and leave. It's not worth the couple CS that you might get otherwise if you stayed. Just leave the lane, go ward, go do something else for a second or two, and then return and go aggressive again once the Gnar bar wears out. So it's just paying attention to the power potential of your lane opponent, and that, you know, updates as cooldowns come off refreshment. For Gnar specifically, it's the thing you got to watch for his Gnar bar and his passive stacks. So you don't really need to respect Gnar right now. He's at half health, so you could go on him right now if you wanted to. But now you gotta not go on him, because now his Gnar bar is full. And he's gonna hit an ability. The next ability he hits, he's gonna jump on you. He's probably gonna jump on you right now. Oh. Okay. So he messed it up. So you didn't get punished very hard that time. Which is good, but that's the kind of thing you gotta be watching out for. Constantly be evaluating, what can my opponent do to me right now? Just because you could beat him a second ago and get away consequence free doesn't mean you can now, or, you know, in a few seconds, because key abilities come off of cooldown. The jungler's position is updated, and all of that kind of thing. So you got to be constantly updating your intelligence or your assessment of what your opponent is able to do to you. Oh, why'd you cancel? Oh, he didn't cancel that, you canceled that. Oh, that's brutal, dude. You had made it. That's brutal. That's the difference between getting back in time to get most of this wave and he's going to be able to establish a really good position in you now. That's a massive deal. He could even stop you again if he wants to. So you lost 2 waves because of that. So in the first place, position a little more conservatively to start your teleport. In the second place, don't cancel your teleport. I'm assuming that was a misclick or something. Okay, this was the right decision to farm this, though, over trying to chase him down. This is the gold you're going to get for sure. Gnar was is a gamble if you'd be able to get gold off of him. Yeah, and so it's a couple of things to take away from that. It takes 8 seconds for you to recall. And so if someone recalls and you are able to stop them, you know, if you're able to wait till it ticks down 5 or 6 seconds and then go to stop their recall, that's gigantic. I mean, it's psychologically really annoying, and so you can make people mad by doing it, and there's that. That's always a good thing. But it also delays them from getting back to lane for so much longer. It's a situation where just doing that can force them to burn a teleport, or can lose them a whole extra wave of CS. And, you know, he was actually able to make up a big part of the CS gap just by you canceling your teleport like that. That was a 12 CS swing. Or maybe a little bit more than 12 CS swing. Okay, so in this situation, what do you, I mean, you gotta be thinking through. So look at this situation. So you don't have a ward, I'm guessing, or you would have thrown it down. Yeah. So you don't have a ward, so you gotta be thinking to yourself, okay, what's my best case scenario for being in this position? Is there any reason for you to be this extended right now? Not really. You might miss 1 CS. That's okay. That's not that big of a deal. 1 CS is a cheap price to pay for avoiding getting ganked and murdered. So if you don't know where Gragas is, and especially if you don't have a ward, it's not worth being up this far. Gnar isn't freezing it, so he's not going to be brutally punishing you. But even if he was, what could you realistically do? I mean, at this point, maybe you could get this CS and maybe a couple of them, but you can't you can't CS this stuff without allowing him to do a lot of damage to you, and you can't really trade back the damage because he'll just immediately jump back into turret range and you can't do anything. So there's really no upside for you being this extended. The wave is too pushed. You can't really safely CS. He's not within kill range at all, so you don't have kill pressure on him. So best case scenario for you right now is nothing happens. Like, you know, you would just sit here and he doesn't attack you and you can't attack him, so nothing happens, and that's a kind of a waste of time. So this is just you just back off. You know, and the best case scenario is unlikely to happen because he wants to harass you. You don't know where the jungler is. You don't have a ward. You have this ward, but that doesn't protect you from this gank lane right here. So just back off. Just know when it's not worth being up. This is just an analysis thing. You gotta realize when it's not worth. You know, when there's really very few upsides to you. Because look at this. Even if it was just you guys, even if Gragas doesn't show up here, he's won this trade. Because he just has to hit you with 1 or 2 more 2 more auto attacks, or his Q and an auto attack. His Q's on cooldown, so 2 auto attacks, even just 1, and he's won the trade. But if he hits 2, then he's massively won the trade. And now he can freeze the lane pretty easily. So even if Gragas doesn't show up, that wasn't worth doing. And now you are almost certain to die here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so you gave up a kill and your turret for that mistake. And that's, yeah, just a overextension thing. There's that 1 CS was all you were realistically going to be able to get, even in a best case scenario in that situation, and it's just not worth the risk. And again, like, what's going to happen here? Are you going to be able to kill him? Well, no, he's under his turret. You can't kill him under his turret. So why would you go aggressive on him like that? He's ranged. He's going to be able to out-trade you, almost certainly. You don't have a sheen or anything, so your auto attacks aren't going to be hitting that hard, or after your abilities. So it's not worth trading on him unless it actually, unless you have a realistic expectation of being able to come out ahead in the trade. So yeah, just overall, you're picking fights with him at really weird, unoptimal times. And since you're, and again, the other thing is, like, I mean, you are so I'm going to just go on a bit of a spiel here. So the number one mistake that I see lower elo players making, in lane anyway, is that they do not know how to lose a lane gracefully. So they will give up a kill, and they will then come back in the lane and try to force a play. They'll try to make a big play or make a mechanical outplay or do something so that they're so that they can get back even in lane, so that they can start winning it again. And it's like the dumbest thing you could possibly do, because the guy already killed you. So unless he's a moron, now he's ahead of you. He's got a level advantage and an item advantage. And so if you come back in the lane and try to force a play and kill him, well, what's going to happen? He killed you the first time when you had, when your levels and items were even. So now that your levels and items are uneven, well, he's going to kill you again. And so, second kill, and then low elo player will often try again, and the third kill. And at that point, by the time you're 3 kills down, then you don't even have to try to force a play. Your opponent can often kill you at will. And so that's the number one mistake, is not knowing how to lose a lane gracefully. If you get behind, that's now your lane phase. You lost the lane. You need to switch up and play conservative. The second big mistake is not protecting a lead. And so right now you have an advantage over Gnar, or you had an advantage over Gnar anyway. You are now behind a bit. Yep, pretty much exclusively on that last trade, because you gave up another kill and he got another assist. So you were about 100 gold ahead, and now you're about 100 gold down. He's caught up in CS some. So you had a significant advantage on Gnar, because you were out CSing him magnificently. And so what you have done by trying to go aggressive and trying to force your advantage and trying to force it and overplaying your hand is you've let him back in. Now he's ahead. Even though he doesn't have any kills, he's ahead now. So you had a lead, but you risked it. You overplayed it. And that's the thing. It's like if you're ahead, you need to play. You still need to play safe. You need to play smart. You need to wait for him to make mistakes, and the mistakes, and the nice thing of when you're a little bit ahead is that there's more of a margin, or there's less of margin of error for him. Like, there's more mistakes you'll be able to punish. Things that might be safe for him to do if you were behind are not safe for him to do if you're ahead. And so there will be more opportunities for you to punish his positioning or punish his using an ability when he shouldn't, or whatever. And so you still need to be playing safe and focusing on the thing that is winning you the lane in the first place, which is out CSing him, and then looking to trade with him and punish him when he overextends. And as you increase your CS lead, those overextensions will happen more and more and more and more often, because he'll have to overextend less and less for you to be able to punish him really hard. But you've made a couple of errors in judgment of just when it was a good time to extend on him and when was a good time to trade. You went back in on that original play and traded with him when you had 2 stacks of his passive and he was about to turn into Gnar, and that got you low. And and then you kind of made the mistake of overextending again, and when the jungler was still in the area. And then down here you decided to go aggressive, or you were aggressively positioned when you didn't know where the jungler was and you didn't have a ward up and there wasn't any real upside to being there. So you gave up 2 kills because of those 2 things. And then Xin gave up another kill. And so now Gnar is ahead, whereas if you had avoided those 2 mistakes, he would still be significantly behind and you would still have your advantage. So just by not being aggressive on him and just by playing smart and paying attention to your fundamentals, you win this lane. You don't have to kill him. You've already won. You can just, you could almost just ignore him. You can keep pressuring him and keep doing exactly what you were doing early on and walk out of this lane way ahead. So don't overplay your hand. Just because you're ahead doesn't mean you automatically should be able to kill him every time, anytime you want to. You can't kill people at will unless you are, like, monstrously ahead. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Yeah, see, this kind of thing is okay, or it would be if you were. Yeah, now back off. Good. Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's recognizing a point where you are stronger. You have your Sheen now, so he has frozen mallet, which will make sticking on him annoying. But good, yeah, good. Now you're recognizing when he is overextended. And so even though technically he's ahead, you've hit an item threshold that allows you to punish him really hard. Wait till he blows his abilities. Dodge that CC. Oh, now you can go in, huh? Oh, you can go in now. All of his stuff was down. Now it's all back up. As soon as he blew all that, like his stun was down and his ult was down, what's he going to do to you? He hits you with his Q. Yeah, well, that doesn't do that much damage to you. That was a kill, I think. Okay, I'm going to look at this one more time. Okay, so look at this. So right now you successfully dodged his hop and you're pretty safe. You just move away from him right now. So you need to like move into this brush. But instead you look to go aggressive right away and he hits you with his stun. Now this is kind of silly because you're just barely in the hitbox. So he barely hit you with the stun, but he does hit you. So stay away until he uses that, because that's what he's wanting to do. Or maybe like, you know, move toward him a little bit, but immediately juke back. Just try to bait it out. And then he messes up and hits a minion with his Q, so he doesn't do that damage to you. And now literally every one of his abilities is on cooldown. Well, as soon as he uses his ult here. Okay, so he uses his ult, but he doesn't get the stun off, so that doesn't do much damage to you. So you're not CC'd. His Q is on cooldown, his stun is on cooldown, his hop is on cooldown, everything is on cooldown. He can do nothing to you. He has a lot of resistances, but you do a lot of damage. Jump on him. Like, obliterate him here. There's no reason not to. You have minions here. You take a Q hit, but again, that wouldn't be enough to turn the tides. And so, and then you missed this. This is just a vision. This was just an awareness thing because he walked right past your ward. I didn't see if he walked past Krug, so it may have been a flash or just a brief second where you could see him, but. You may have been able to get out if you'd like dashed to one of these minions and ran down river. It's possible. Okay, I'm going to speed it up again. Okay, good. So right now you've set top up to slow push, so it's going to slowly push down the lane. And it'll be pretty gigantic by the time it reaches this top turret, and somebody's going to have to go deal with it, and then you move to mid, which is good. At least your support should also be in mid. And Morgana is moving up, I guess. You could have turned sooner there. That ult. It's deceiving. The range of it is so deceiving. I think you could have turned on this sooner because the turret was still doing damage and Morgana was coming in. And they weren't killing the turret very fast, so I think if you had turned a little sooner, that might have gone a little bit better for you. So there's nothing for you to do top lane. Good, good, you recognize that. This is doing its own thing. And dragon is up, so good, that's the correct move. You have teleport to get to top if you need to. But yeah, right now you want to be setting up vision. Kill what's in front of you, good. Switch to Gragas, good. Okay, now Graves, now Graves, now Graves. So out of position. Good. Now do Dragon. Oh, never mind, there's Gnar. Don't do it while he's in his full Gnar bar. His team is still up. So dangerous. Yes, he's out of position, but just kite back until his Gnar bar wears off. Okay, good. So that ended up working out. That was just really risky to try to go in on him when he has all of his stuff up. Okay, so top is pushing the other direction now. It got a lot of damage down on the turret. If you teleport top right now, nice. I love it. There should be a free turret for you. Good. So that was really good overall. You correctly identified where you needed to be on the map. The specifics of that fight could have been a lot cleaner. You needed to turn on Graves sooner. You needed to turn on Gragas sooner. And you needed to be more careful about just straight up engaging on Gnar. You guys ended up winning, but it was still pretty sloppy. Those are the kind of mistakes that will end up losing you fights the other half of the time. But overall, you put yourself in the right position on the map. You correctly recognized your power spike and your ability to impact that fight, and you recognized the top lane was pushing on its own. The Gnar, this team ignored the top wave, so they lost a lot of CS up here and did a lot of damage to the turret, which then allowed you to immediately teleport top and take it. So the big picture moves were great. The specifics of how that team fight went could have been better. It was a little risky, just because you guys are low on mana. And he hits Gnar bar, yeah. Oh, go after him! Oh, dude! I mean, you're out of mana, I guess. I don't know. I think you could have had him. I'm pretty sure you could have had him. So, chasing him, again, just recognizing what he's going to do. He's running into the brush because he wants to drop vision for a second so he can turn into Gnar. So, you're looking at his Gnar bar. The entire time you're fighting Gnar, you're watching his Gnar bar. If that Gnar bar is getting close to the top, you disengage. You immediately disengage because he's going to start turning. And you might be able to bait him into using his abilities, and then you can turn around and kill him. But if he's next to a wall, then he's going to win that trade because he will stun you, and then he will stun you again, and then he'll hit you with his Q, and that just does an asinine amount of damage. Okay, so you force Gnar to reappear, to make a presence up here. And now your team is grouped. For the most part, Israel's not there. Oh, nice. Okay, now go, no, go. Oh, now you can turn on Gnar, though. Turn on Gnar. Look at this. Okay, I'm gonna back up. Okay, so overall this is good. You forced Gnar to show top. You took free damage here, which is not ideal. And you take out Thresh as a team, which is really good. Throw your ward right here as you're walking in so that original damage you took doesn't hurt you. But now look at the situation. Why are you chasing this when you have Gnar behind you? Like, this is the kind of situation that this team is looking for. They're looking for an opportunity where Gnar can come up behind, Ari can land a charm, you know, if they pincher you in, you've got your front line all here. They don't have a tank in front of them. All Ari needs to do is land a good charm, or Gragas land a slow, and Syndra can die. Morgana is squishy too, but this guy is out of position. This guy's completely out of position. If you guys all turn and collapse on him, you do a significant amount of damage to him. And his team probably doesn't respond in time to save him. But as it is, you're all spending a lot of cooldowns and abilities to try to chase these three guys down who are already running out of a fight, and you're ignoring the guy who is way out of position. So now, yeah, so now they've done a bunch of damage to you. Your big carry is low. And now Gnar's coming at you with a full Gnar bar. Now you're collapsing on him. This is what you should have done originally. Okay, good. So it ends up working out. That could have very easily gone the other way, though. If the enemy team had played that a little bit more cohesively. Okay, I'll speed it up a bit. Overstaying. So it looked like you played that correctly. But yeah, in this situation, it's not a smart idea for your melees to walk up to the turret when the AD carry is alive. You know, you got this turret, you had a big wave pushing. So just immediately rotate top, rotate top. I mean, not now, I guess, but like after you got that turret, pushing this is risky. So why not rotate top and take this turret too? Especially since the inhibitor turrets don't really give you very much gold. I mean, it's a nice map pressure advantage, no doubt. But at this point in the game, the gold is still pretty nice. So rotate top and get the inner turret for the gold. Okay, so you're going... Wait, what are you building? Oh, randomins. I'm trying to think what... I knew there's something that comes out of those two items. Wow. Brain fail. Yeah, randomins is good versus this team. Although, Spirit Visage would also be a pretty viable option. That would help your sustain a lot too. And they're pumping out a fair amount of AP damage. And, but, yeah, Randuin's is fine though, because particularly since Graves is doing so well on their team. So your team, so just keep pushing, just keep pushing. Keep pushing, keep pushing, should keep pushing. If there's no, I mean, you want to be able to teleport into that team fight. Oh boy. Oh, that hook. Graves is massive. Okay, so that might have worked out. You almost made it work. Graves needs to be focused sooner in a perfect world, but so it's a little thing, but you could have been pushing this lane the entire time you were waiting to teleport. You were looking at you were looking at the dragon fight developing, but your team's not in position, so you don't want to just teleport in while they're just doing dragon and be alone while your team is like up here. And then they catch Xin Zhao out, which means it's a 4v5, and so that's not something you really want to teleport into. If the fight is already lost, and there's no reason to fight. I mean, it's like, what you can do, well, they took Dragon, so the objective is gone. There's nothing to fight over or defend, and they killed Xin Zhao. So you have a 4v5, and there's nothing to fight over. So there's really no upsides. Even if you win this fight, there's like, I mean, yeah, that's a nice win, and there's some gold, but there's no real other upsides to winning that fight. You burned your teleport. You don't have enough map pressure anywhere that you would be able to go and take a turret. Maybe this turret, but by the time you walk down and clear it, they're going to be up and be able to defend it, I think. So this is just, it's very few upsides to teleporting into the fight at this point when you've already lost a man and dragon is gone. There's nothing left to fight for. So regardless of that though, the whole time you don't need to be walking down. You just want to be keeping an eye on this fight while you're pushing this lane. You're continuing to pressure the lane, continuing to get the CS. You're going until you're ready to actually teleport in. This isn't a situation where you want to really just leave the lane and let it build up. You can continue creating pressure because the other option, what you did, was just walk down here and then end up teleporting. And so you kind of wasted a lot of time goofing around here that you could have been pressuring. And because of the way that went down, because Xinjiao overextended and then Dragon was gone, there's no reason for you to teleport in at all. Just ping for your team to continue disengaging. Maybe you teleport here if it looks like your team is going to need a little bit extra help defending this turret. But teleporting here is like, that's a thing you do if you think you can realistically win the fight. And that was a very optimistic judgment in this case, because you didn't have numbers and because Graves is gigantic. And they have a lot of CC. Okay, so Graves gets greedy and overstays and your team capitalizes, so yes, this is a good opportunity to do Baron. Do Baron team. Why would you do this? This is like the worst possible thing you could do. Oh my gosh. No. Holy buckets. Okay. So the only thing that you could have done better in this situation is just go right to Baron. Just be spam ping Baron, throw some wards down. You've got your trinket upgraded. Get a ward or two down on your way. Spam ping it and just start it. That will force your team, or likely will force your team to go and start doing it. Because instead what happened was Ezreal stayed here to clear this pink ward while the rest of your team decided to go 3v3 here in mid lane. And they, and obviously what happened was they ended up throwing massively. So you guys just won a good, or you had a good situation going on. You got a good catch, and then you threw it away, or your team threw it away. And so the only thing you could do better, I mean, obviously you didn't join them, and so this isn't your mistake. But just be trying to communicate. Refocus them on the thing that you should be doing right now, which is Baron, not taking this risky fight. There's just zero reason for this. You already had the advantage. You'd already gotten Baron. If they wanted to try to come in on you and stop you from doing Baron, then they're coming in 3v5 and you guys can collapse on them and kill them that way. Be really careful about doing this. What you did was fine, but often it's a better idea to just let them take the turret or the inhibitor if there's any real risk of them. If there's any risk of them being able to kill you while you're trying to defend it, just let them have it. Because what happens often is people try to defend this as a 1 or 2 people, and they end up dying, and then the enemy team takes the objectives anyway, and then their team is left in a 4, is still left in a 3v5 or a 4v5. Whereas if they had just waited for 10 seconds or whatever, yeah, the enemy team gets these, but now it's a 5v5 and you can maybe push back or go do Baron or something. So just what you did there was fine, but just something to keep aware. Often it can be better to just let them have whatever it is. Okay, so enemy team is grouping up around Baron. You guys don't have great vision control of the area, but you are in pretty good position to do something about this. Gragas ult is totally wasted. Ezreal's out of position, kind of. Okay, so you are positioned actually pretty well for this overall. Because you can now jump on Graves, which is what I hope you do. Graves. Oh no, Graves, dude, why? Graves is who's carrying the team. You have CC, you have the ability to burst him down. Graves! Ah! Gragas already blew his ult. He's building tank. Yeah, he does some damage, but he's not a big threat right now. His ult is down. There's no reason to focus him. He wasn't like on your carries or anything. You were walking up here. You had a choice between going on to Graves or going on to Gragas. Graves is who you want to go for. He's the one dishing out all the damage. You are Irelia. You are a carry killer. Focus on the priority target. Graves. Focusing on Gragas just means that's what Gragas wants you to do. He's building tank. He wants you to focus him, and that gives Graves that entire time while you guys are trying to kill Gragas. I mean, right now Gragas is out of position, and yes, right now this is who you focus. But originally, you could have forced Graves out of the fight, I think. And now it's too late, because now you don't have your team backing you up and they can focus you down when you go for him. You could have at least burned his GA, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was your guys' fight to win. It wasn't all your fault, and that mistake wasn't the only thing that threw that fight, but if you had gone for Graves, I think you guys would have won. That would have been enough to win the fight for your team. Like, Gragas is doing well. He's got 11 kills. But yeah, look at his build. He doesn't do any damage. This is the one you want to stop. This is the one who's going to wreck your team if you let him just sit in the back and do damage the entire fight.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay, good. So you guys are collapsing on Graves because he's out of position. He GAs, but he's still toast. Morgana didn't recognize it soon enough that she needed to back off, so that kind of sucks. You have teleport, so you can keep pushing. Keep pushing. Okay, so Graves and Thresh are dead, so there's like legitimately no reason for you guys not to push this. You have a numbers advantage, you have 4 versus a maximum of 3, but since you know Ahri is in the top lane, it's a 4v2, and so you can push this. You can pressure this turret, you clear this wave, you and Ezreal are able to take it. If Ahri keeps pushing, then you teleport top and stop her. But since you have teleport, there's no reason to stop pushing. So I'm not sure what it was that you were trying to do there, but you ended up giving up a lot of pressure in this lane to just kind of dink around in this area. I mean, Dragon is coming up, so you want to be aware of that. Ahri's pushing top, so you want to be aware of that. But you don't need to start walking up this direction. You have teleport. When your team is ready to do Dragon, go do Dragon. If you need to teleport top, but you can teleport from here just as easy as you can teleport from here, right? So always be looking to maximize your time. If you find yourself just sitting in a bush waiting for something to happen, even for just a second or two, that's brutal. Graves, Graves, Graves. Oh, you're still in the fight. Why are you leaving? There we go. Good work. So you panicked out of the fight, and you didn't need to. You were still at like almost half health. You were fine. Stay in the fight. Find the carries. Delete the carries. Ezreal is for some reason trying to solo Dragon instead of pushing the objective. This is just absolutely incredibly inefficient. If anything, he should have gone bot and pushed that turret. And you guys need to rotate there now and do that. Look at bot. This is useless. This is pointless. Do not do this. Never do this. I mean, stunning him is fine to keep him from following. But look at bot. This is what Ezreal should have done. Because then you guys could have gotten those 2 turrets and that inhibitor and then gone as a group to Dragon. So, this was free. I would have stayed to kill... Well, no, never mind. This is fine. You needed to get back. Okay, delete the carry. Now back off. Okay, that's fine. That was exactly the right thing to do. Your flash is down because you panicked out of the last fight. So stop. Yeah, this is a situation where you just gotta be really careful about chasing. So stop chasing and do Baron. Ping Baron. Baron, 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 Baron. For some reason, Ezreal flashes. There's no objectives to get. Do Baron! Baron! Come on! What are you gonna get? What are you gonna get? You have no wave here to push this turret. You have no wave here to push this turret. There's no objective here to get. They're not going to be down for nearly long enough for you guys to push these turrets. Go get Baron. And somebody finally pings it. Way too late. I mean, yeah, you might be able to get Graves here, but you don't need to get Graves here. Baron is free. By the time you kill Graves, you're not even going to have time to get one inhibitor turret, I don't think, or Nexus turret. Maybe one. Oh wait, I'm an idiot, aren't I? Because this is where you win the game. Okay. Well, scratch everything I just said then. I miscalculated how long it was going to take you guys to get in there. Okay. Well, that silly piece of coaching at the end there aside. So yeah, yes, okay. So I stand corrected. Pushing this was the right call. I anticipated that Graves was going to be able to defend that a little harder, and I also underestimated, or overestimated, I guess, how long it was going to take for you guys to get those Nexus turrets. And I saw that they had low death timers, but I didn't really account for the fact that it was mostly just Thresh that was almost up. So you guys made the right call. I misread that situation. Another 5 seconds though, and Baron would have been the right call. So, but you guys did make the right call and you finished the game, so that's good. Okay, so the takeaways from this game: your CSing was pretty strong this game. Your map-wide decision making was actually really good this game. A big improvement from the last game I watched of yours. So that's really encouraging to see. You're doing a much better job of identifying where you ought to be on the map to have the most impact on a fight, or on the map in general. You're not wasting as much time in lanes where you're not going to have a lot of impact, so that's really cool. There's some specifics of just decision making in lane, of when to go aggressive and when you should back off, that I talked about as I went on. So that's kind of the thing, honestly, is just risk assessment, I guess, would be the big takeaway from this one. When you get ahead in lane, if you have a big CS lead, you are winning. You do not need to get kills. You do not need to force it. You are already winning. Protect that lead. Play smart. Don't go over aggressive. Don't overplay your hand. Just because you have a slight gold lead or a CS lead doesn't suddenly make you invincible. If you have a full item advantage on somebody, then you might be more invincible, and then you can go in. But you didn't. You had maybe a half item advantage. I mean, not even that, honestly. You had maybe if you'd played the lane perfectly, maybe you would have had maybe like a third of an item if you were going for Triforce. So definitely an advantage, but not one that can't be overcome if you overplay your hand. So be real careful about being too aggressive and getting antsy just because you have a lead. Be content to just keep growing your farm lead, to just keep pressuring him, keep zoning him, keep bullying him when he makes mistakes, and just keep farming away until you have a gigantic CS lead. That's just as potent as having a kill lead. And then in team fights, there are a few times when target selection could have been a lot better. You could have gone for the priority targets. In the team fight around Dragon here in particular, you could have switched targets a lot faster. So just being aware of what's going on in a team fight, and always be constantly updating your prioritization of who you need to be attacking. So yeah, risk assessment, that'd be the big one. Just on the fly, updating your assessment of what's going to happen next more frequently. Being aware of that Gnar bar, being aware of Gnar stacks passive, being aware of where the jungler might be, being aware of who in a team fight is the most important target at any given moment. Is it the person who's attacking my carries, or am I able to jump on a carry and force them out of a fight? It's the right answer to that question is going to be different in every situation, depending on where exactly they are and what exactly is happening. But it's a question you got to ask and be looking to answer as often and as quickly as possible. So overall, this is a big improvement from the last game, and that's really encouraging to see. So congratulations, good work. And there's a few things to definitely improve on here, but overall, a really well played game. Thanks for the opportunity to take a look. I really appreciate it, and I hope it helps. Best of luck.